It's a new year, and everyone's setting resolutions. But without the right mindset, many will end up repeating the same mistakes.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world.
In physics, every force has a counterforce. The same principle applies to life. For every hero, there's a villain. And without an enemy, there's no story, no progress. This video will give you the key to pushing through the resistance, achieving your goals, and making 2025 the year you dominate. Give me 10 minutes, and 2025 would be your best year yet. I know what you're probably thinking. Why would I ever need an enemy? As men, we thrive on challenges. We need that hunger in our belly, that constant push to be better. Without opposition, we stagnate. We become complacent. Think about it. Imagine you're a lion. You're the king of the jungle, right? But if there were no other predators, no competition for food, no threat to your territory, what would happen? You'd get fat, lazy, you'd lose your edge. The same applies to us. Think of Achilles and Hector, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Virtually every single legendary personality or organization you can think of has always had that rival. That formidable opponent who pushed them to true greatness. That enemy who forces them to keep innovating, keep developing, keep working hard to stay on top of their game. Because if they slipped for 1 second, the enemy was waiting in the shadows to obliterate them. Now, I'm not talking about making enemies in your personal life. I'm talking about creating internal competition. Yes, your biggest enemy is right inside of you. Imagine you're training for a boxing match. You're in the gym, sweating, pushing your body to its limits. But there's no fight scheduled, no opponent, just you and the mirror. How long do you think you'll maintain that intensity? Probably not long. You might skip a workout here and there. You might start slacking off. But what if you knew the date of the fight? What if you knew your opponent was a beast, a destroyer? You wouldn't dare miss a training session. You would push yourself harder than you ever thought possible. And why not? You don't want to be disgraced. You don't want to be humiliated in front of the world. That's the power of competition. It forces you to dig deep, to unleash your inner beast. Without that pressure, without that constant striving to be better than your enemy, you won't grow. You won't evolve. Fighting your inner enemy isn't just theoretical motivational garbage. If you apply this teaching, you would begin to see real results in your life right away. How? You won't always feel like a champion. There will be days when you're tired, demotivated, and just want to quit. That's normal. It happens to everyone. But what differentiates the weak men from the real ones is your ability to keep showing up and keep putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. This is exactly why you need an enemy. Aside from pushing you forward, your enemy helps you keep track of your progress. You know you want to move from that skinny loser to that macho man who gets the respect he deserves from everyone. You know you want to move out of your mom's basement and become an independent man. You know you want to set up your own successful business and get out of that 9-to-5 that underpays you and keeps you from achieving your dreams. You want to build a version of you that is unstoppable, annihilating all obstacles in his path. You want a version that is super disciplined and never misses a workout, never breaks a promise to friend or to foe. You want a successful version of you who stops at nothing to ensure he achieves all his set objectives. So every morning, once you wake up, I want you to take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself how close you are to reaching the standards of your enemy, your rival, your ideal form. Every day, ask yourself, would the ideal version of me do this? Would he eat unhealthy junk? Would he while away his time on irrelevant things? If the answer is no, then you know what to do. How do you track your progress if you don't have a clear goal, a clear opponent? Without a benchmark, without something to measure yourself against, you're essentially wandering aimlessly. You might feel like you're making progress, but you're really just spinning your wheels. Your enemy is closing in on you. He never sleeps. He is driven by a searing hot passion to devour you, to outdo you, to eat you up, to disgrace you, to leave you for dead. He is grinding while you sleep. He is inching every day closer and closer to you. With this idea in your consciousness, you have set yourself on the road to true greatness in this 2025. Choose your friends carefully. I am sure you have heard this mantra many times, but a real man knows that it is just as important to choose one's enemies carefully, especially when you are choosing an enemy to push you to true greatness. So, who is your ideal enemy? Who is your standard for success? Most people naturally choose the most successful person in their sphere of work. So, footballers would say Lionel Messi, and businessmen would point at Elon Musk, but this is a serious mistake. Why? Because no two men have the exact same different talents, circumstances, and resources. Messi was born with exceptional football skills, and Elon Musk was born into wealth. Comparing yourself to them is simply a waste of them and would certainly lead you nowhere. Although you could become a successful footballer, you may never be able to replicate the exact skills and performances of Lionel Messi. And although you may successfully build your own business, it may never be a Tesla or X. So, instead of wasting your time chasing shadows and comparing yourself to others, how about you pick a fight against you? Yes, you heard me right. Your perfect enemy is the version of you that has achieved all the goals that you dream about. He has that dream job, that ideal physical shape, that social status that you desire. This version of you must become your benchmark, your target, your enemy. You must imagine yourself in an unending feud with this enemy, a bloody battle for dominance with no room for retreat or surrender. Whoever loses will face eternal shame and defeat. With every gym session you miss, every single time you give up, every single minute you spend in idle play, you are getting weaker and he is getting stronger. You can't wish him away. You can't run away from him. You can't hide. The only solution is to keep him in your mental sights. You must get yourself to the standard where you are not afraid of him anymore, where you can dominate and conquer your enemy. All right, you've heard all about why you should identify and fight your enemy. So now let's get practical. First, you need to clearly define your enemy. In your quiet time, I need you to grab a piece of paper and write down at least 20 things your enemy already has. Does he have a super level of fitness with six-pack abs, incredible strength, limitless endurance? Does he have a thriving business, a high-paying job, complete financial freedom? Do you imagine him having strong, loving relationships, a fulfilling social life, and unwavering confidence? Get specific. The more detailed you are, the more powerful your enemy will become, and the more effective your efforts at self-development would be in the long run. Now, throughout your day, constantly refer to this list. You may have to literally print this list and put it where you can see it as you carry on with your daily activities. That is your roadmap to success, and you should never let it out of your sight. What would your enemy do? You must ask yourself this question whenever you are not sure what to do. You know your enemy isn't giving up, so why should you? You know he isn't falling asleep on duty or skipping a training session. Choose the path that brings you closer to your goals. Choose the path that your enemy would choose. This constant internal dialogue will keep you on track. It will push you to your limits, and it will ultimately lead you to victory. So, how do you know you're still on track? Periodic self-evaluation. At the end of every month or week or day, whichever you choose, I need you to take a look at the list and write down how much you have done to bring yourself closer to attaining each of the items of that list in the period under evaluation. For example, if your ideal self has it physically fit and well built, you need to check how much weight you have lost, what improvements you have made to your diet, and what better lifestyle choices you have made. If your enemy is an excellent academic, check out how much time and effort you have put into your studies. Have you come closer to attaining your enemy's standard? Whatever the answer is, you need to keep grinding. Remember, the objective is not only to match the enemy's strength, but to totally defeat him. You do this, there is no room for quitting. Keep grinding. Turning your life around in 2025 is very possible. You only need to take the steps provided in this video. My challenge to you: identify your opponent, embrace the challenge, and let the fight begin.